What up?
What's going on, brother? How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm happy to be back doing this shit. It feels like been years since the last episode.
Forever, right? It's crazy with giving just that week in between how much of a span it feels like.
Oh no. I mean, there's so much with the content and the fucking fights every weekend. It's makes time go by. I feel like we're behind, but we never are.
No. The return of the bald men. This is throwing smoke, representing the blue corner, across from civilized creatures, from Merit AF, Uncle Randy on the throne.
Boom. On the
Uh,
throne, baby.
it's just
Yeah.
out of Conan the Barbarian.
Oh shit.
And of course, me, Joe B from Any Podcast, Inner Circle represent. Throwing smoke, baby. You had UFC 243, you had UFC Tampa Bay, you had one FC's Grand Prix go down. So
Dude, you
much.
got all kind of shit going on in bare knuckle. They're trying to make some noise. It's a busy time.
It's kind of scary with bare knuckle. You want to start there?
Yeah, we can start
We
there.
can start there, right?
It's
You
great.
get it's good to see some type of new organization come in. It's a little nerve wracking where they're getting like the older guys to go there.
Agreed.
Like like you have they become veterans from Pride into UFC, and then they're like, all right, UFC, they're just not there anymore. So they step down to Bellator. And now Bellator's like, yeah, your time's up, buddy. And now we're going to bare knuckle.
Dude, it scares me. Like what you're saying, what scares me about it is I feel like it's in the wrong order. You know,
Mm,
older
hmm
guys, it'd be better to see them come to the UFC, seasoned fighters. I don't want to see older guys who have obtained damage over their career then go to a very violent, non padded bare knuckle, which I know there's theories out there that bare knuckle's safer. The injuries are more flesh wounds. It's uglier on TV, but I don't know, man. I don't like to see the when they go after the old fighters. To me, it feels like propaganda. Now, where it doesn't, there's one big one coming up, which is Jason Knight, the rematch with Lobov.
But they're still younger fighters.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one
They-
I'm actually excited for. Their bare knuckle first one was incredible.
yeah. I could see that. But where it's Gabriel Gonzaga versus Bigfoot Silva in Tampa, I think it's the weekend of October 18th or whatever.
Yeah.
That man, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to see them get their face smashed in. And they're big dudes.
Oh, for sure, man. I don't like it one bit. I don't like Bigfoot Silva being anywhere near a ring anymore. I haven't seen much from Gonzaga since he left, so I don't know what kind of shape he's in. But Gonzaga, with his health problems, his pituitary gland issues, I'm sure they let him juice in bare knuckle, which he deserved. He had a real medical condition with the medication he took for his gigantism actually killed his testosterone levels. So when he was able
Damn.
to juice, I don't think he was juicing to the Vitor levels, but I don't know. We'll see.
I know UFC veterans. Wanderlei Silva is trying to get in. Fabricio Verdum's trying to get in there now. Rubbing. I think they'll be at the event this weekend, rubbing shoulders with Anthony Rumble Johnson, trying to get their foot in the door. Silva's already called out Belfort.
I saw that.
Don't.
That is that sucks. What's crazy? I wouldn't mind Rumble, which Rumble it's weird because he's talking about his UFC comeback at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is the Hector Lombard signing. You want to talk about steroids?
Yeah.
As hell. Victor Lombard, that's surprising because he's kind of mid-range old. He's not super old. He hasn't been getting KO'd a lot and shit. I mean, he has been KO'd, but not to where you think. I just didn't expect that one.
Right. Yeah, it's it's interesting to see that go down. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out and what they do if they get younger fighters instead of going to UFC or Bellator. If they'll start to go down that path, or if they're like, "Fuck that, I'm not getting my face cut up with dude's knuckles."
Yeah, I mean, and they've got to be lured there, of course, due to pay. But
Yeah,
what scares me about that is they start bringing in these guys, even if they're older, they're going to think their value's high. And the only way to pay them the money is to increase the pay-per-view price. And I ain't buying that shit for 45, 50 bucks. I mean, I'll buy it for 20.
it's 30 now.
I know. That's what it's like. They're pushing it. The only way to have a bigger purse and pay these guys more is to up the pay-per-view price.
Yeah, unless you had like some big company like Viacom.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that own Bellator, right? So I mean, they got money for days,
Well,
and they can work on numbers later.
You know, Tito's got a fight. He's fighting former WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio in a real MMA fight.
Come on, man.
I don't even know the organization, but they announced that it is a done deal. They are fighting. Del Rio did do a couple of fights in Mexico, real MMA fights. He was a fighter before he was WWE wrestler. Then he got cut from WWE, and now he's going to fight Tito. So if you're skeptical, hippo eyes aren't on this, then I don't know if you're a real MMA fan, because I just smell bullshit all over it. And I smell that all over everything Tito does now, because for one, I know how bad his neck is fucked up, how many surgeries he's had. I just don't know that he can go to a real war.
No, he's the type, he should not be fighting anymore. Like, it's coach. I don't coach people. Start looking for the next Tito Ortiz. You know what I mean? Find somebody and bring somebody up to pass along your style, your bloodline per se.
Well, here's where these older guys mess up. They fuck around and they burn their bridges with Dana White, and they're unemployable, and they get pissed off at him. They should have followed the Forrest Griffin method. He stayed cool with Dana, and Dana's kept him employed.
Yeah.
He never rocked the boat. He never said, "Oh, Dana won't give me a fight." All these other Chuck ended up turning on Dana a little. Fucking Tito definitely did. Not a good look if you want to stay employed.
Yeah, no, I like the commercial for, I think, Toyo tires.
Yeah.
Woo! Still got it.
Well, what do you get on UFC? We want to talk about UFC 243 for people.
Yeah, let's go. Let's dive into 243. Stylebender versus Whittaker.
Yeah, I'm going to be the first. I'm going to tell everybody. I posted it on Twitter. Australia really fucked me.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a hometown card do so poorly on their main card. Usually, you know, they try to set it up where the hometown folks do well. You know, it behooves the UFC to have it go that way. So they come back, they build superstars. There was nothing they can do. Australia just got that ass waxed, and started with De Castro and Tafa. Everything I'd read on Tafa, I'd seen videos, looked at some tape of him. He's a big he's under the tutelage of Mark Hunt. He's supposedly his protege, right? So that's why I went with him. I didn't know much of him, and bullshit, he got dropped. I thought he was dead.
And that was not like a hard. I mean, it was a hard punch, but it was off his back foot, right?
Yeah, it was off his back foot.
Tafa was going into De Castro, and he caught him with that. I can't remember if it was a left or a right, but off the back foot, and he went down. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, it was a short right hand. Now, again, the heavyweights, you never know. I mean, the power is just the torque that those guys can create with just one. You know, I've seen Matt Mitrione knock people out with a punch that's like, you know, that far. And so, I don't know, but even the best actor in the world couldn't fake that. So either he's got a chin issue or De Castro is just a bad son of a bitch. I don't know. We'll see when De Castro gets a little bit more of a season test, I think, next. He said all the right things afterwards. And so that as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm fucked. I just had a feeling.
I picked DeCastro on that just because you picked the other guy. So I'm like, I'll go with this one.
Yeah. And then we both took Lima, Diego Lima. He's a fucking stud. He flies very much under the radar. He's got skill as good as anybody.
Yeah, why do you think that is that he's not up there? Because he's been around for a while. It's always a good performance.
I don't know. I just think he's not the most marketable fella. He doesn't do a lot of shit talking, doesn't really have an angle or a gimmick of any kind. And he doesn't fight a whole lot, but he's fucking good. I mean, I don't think you could I think you could put him in there with anybody. He's going to hold his own and maybe beat him. What I liked about it is he won the split decision. It was obvious. He dominated the whole fight. All 3 rounds, he won them. Clearly, it was an outclassing by definition. And he got the split decision. And I've never seen a fighter that wins go and appeal the decision to the commission. But his team is actually appealing the decision to have it overturned to a unanimous.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because it was that blatant. And I think it's true. And so did everyone watching it. Even I think it was Anik and them were like, and we'll be right back with the official scorecards, but we are certain that it's going to be across the board for Diego Lima.
Damn. Judges are very finicky thing. I assume that Jamal, he's an Australian, or at least from that region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. I mean, maybe that's the only thing they could do is try to throw him a bone, at least throw him around. But fuck, man, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so then you've got Sergey coming out to take on Tuivasa, which Tuivasa is the shoey guy for everybody that, if they know, he's the guy that will drink beer out of the shoe. And he was a big prospect. He's had a couple of losses. I was on the fence. I wanted to drop him, but my gut said to take him because he's the hometown guy. Should have listened to myself. He's done now. I think they'll cut him after this because he took another. He had no answer. Sergey had a great. He's got a good little judo base, good judo throw, and Tuivasa couldn't do shit with it. He'd get thrown every time they got close, and then he got submitted. He was almost submitted in the first, and then he got finished with that. I think it was an arm triangle in the second, and he just looked like a toddler on the ground, like he had no answer.
Damn.
So that was another one. I was wrong. Did you take Sergey?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
You're killing me, sir.
I know. It's a lot of it's luck. Some of it is that it's that instinct, right? Like
Yep.
who you should pick, like just on paper, like this is the dude. And if it doesn't work out, at least you went with your gut. When you're like, oh man, I want to pick this guy, but I'm gonna go after reading this or seeing something, like I'll pick this one, and then when they lose, you're like, fuck, I knew it. God damn it.
Yeah, you get overthinking it. And I'm
right.
doing a ton of that, way too much. I should just go with who on the tip of my tongue. Every time we bring up a name, I should just say who I think's going to win, and that's it. Well, we were both wrong here because we were both big fans of Raging Al.
Yeah, I was not expecting Hooker to come out and dominate the way that he did.
Not like that, because he dominated Al worse than Khabib did.
Right.
In my opinion, he pieced him up worse. And it all started, it's crazy. People don't understand how bad those damn low calf kicks can affect a guy. But Al took one in the first, and he was never right. I mean, and hearing some of the stuff his coaches have said was his leg is fine now. It was like Michael Chandler in Bellator. That nerve got, it gets bruised or damaged, and his leg just wouldn't fucking work. And if that's the case, how can you shoot, if you don't have one of your legs to push off of?
Damn, that's horrible. Get that tip. Yeah, it's pretty sad, man. I was hoping that Quinta took that because I want to see him get up in those ranks to get that title shot again, especially after his last performance. I can't see how they didn't run it back at that time, unless you're just afraid for your golden boy right now that's on the tear. Like you can't ruin your thing. You know what I mean?
No, but how tough is Al? Again, he's
It's
made of granite.
yeah. Instead of not giving up, held in there for was it 3 rounds?
Yeah, I mean you can't finish him. He's like a Terminator. And so where do you go next with him? I mean, does he just? I guess they just keep giving him. He's a draw, so they just make him these little, like a gatekeeper or what?
Yeah, but that sucks because he was right there.
Yeah,
I mean, I would imagine if he strings together a couple wins again, he'll be back up in at least top 5 talks.
yeah. The good thing is they got to pay him now though, because he is a draw. I mean, he does bring the eyeballs and the pay-per-views, but I don't think he's done by any means. But fuck, man, he's a guy that he has to be able to implement or impose his will. And you heard Matt Serra the whole fight. Matt was screaming at him, even in between rounds. He's like, "Bitch, you got to get inside. What are you doing? You know, you got to get there. Why can't you get there?" Matt Serra would tell him, "You need to eat a few if you have to,
just to get in
and get inside." And it's like he couldn't pull the trigger. So if his leg wasn't doing right, then that kind of makes sense, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see what Hooker does next. Like who do they give him?
I don't know, man, but a rangy dude like that is tough. You know, that's a wrestler's nightmare. You know, I mean, you see it with DC and John. You know, the rangier guys, longer that can keep you at distance, are a nightmare for wrestlers. And so, fuck. I don't know where you take him. He's got if he looks like he did against Al, if he's motivated and shit, he's another one. That 155 is just the tits, man. It's loaded all the way through the whole division.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's good.
Be interesting to see who he gets up. I mean,
well, he called out Poirier,
of course, but I mean Poirier wants Conor, and I would imagine that they'll make that happen before they would make Poirier and Hooker.
Yeah, because honestly, shit, I don't know what Dustin would do with him either, because he's fucking twice as long as Dustin too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a good fight would be actually Hooker and Conor, because Conor fights very long, and it'd be a stand-up fight. Wouldn't have to worry about nobody going to the ground with nobody. Those two could kick each other's teeth out from a distance, throw those long, rangy punches, you know, because Conor, even though he's not the tallest, he fights very tall because he's, you know, the wide karate base. He's got long arms for his size, and he can actually fight at distance. Just ask Eddie Alvarez, because that's what got Alvarez murked.
I mean, Cowboy's still staying at 155 for now, right? He'll go back and forth, so Cowboy wouldn't be too bad for Hooker.
Oh, fuck, man. I'm worried about. I mean, I guess we'll have to see with Cowboy, but fuck, man. What's a guy like him do when the door is closed, though? Does he? I mean, because he's an adrenaline junkie. He's gonna go to bare knuckle or some shit.
I hope not. I would. Yeah, that would be tough. It would be hard to see him whenever he's done with the UFC go to somewhere else just to keep that rush going versus calling it and coaching or getting in people's being in there in the corners. I mean, I would imagine there's still a rush while you're sitting there cage side yelling at your guy to get inside.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, everybody knows he's a adrenaline junkie and seeker, and that is a dangerous mix. I mean, I'm hoping maybe kids will help tame that. It doesn't look like it. He's still fucking scuba diving down into caves and shit.
Yeah, didn't sound like it. Curbed too much.
I would hope, as much money as he's made, that he's been smart with some of it. I hope, you know. I mean, I'm not one to tell you. I don't think Cowboy's done by any means. I'm just, you know, speaking on what we were talking about as far as these guys continuing past their prime. If it's just because they love it, I mean, I can't be a guy that tells them not to ever fight. I mean, that's not my business, but I don't like to see it. You know, the Chuck Liddell, that last fight with Tito made me extremely sad to see Chuck get knocked out by a punch that he would have ate for breakfast in sparring any day during his prime. It was just atrocious.
Yeah, but I guess I mean, as far as Cowboy, I don't think he's out of his prime yet because it's not like he's getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Like he's taking damage, but he's not getting knocked out.
Yeah. He's one of those guys, though, that they're just so damn, he's just so fucking tough. You know, almost too tough for his own good. I mean, the guy's already missing part of his half his intestines from that. I mean, his body has
From
been
the accident.
fucking ringer. But well, let's jump on. Let's talk about the main event. Fucking champ.
Stylebender, baby.
Took Whitaker. And I mean, I can't say anything other than that was just the wrong decision. I got schooled on that one. Stylebender. I don't know why I've just never jumped on the same. I've never seen what everyone else sees until this fight, and I'm still kind of like, damn, is he that good, or did Whitaker look that bad?
You know, I'm impressed with his volume of strikes and the amount of different angles that he throws them from. Like he's always working, and it's never like just the normal 1-2. I
Mhm.
mean, he's all over the place with his moves. And I mean, he's a young kid, so whatever. If he's into anime or that whole walkout with the the like the ninjutsu dance and shit like that, which whatever, because it wasn't like what was the dude's name? Pierre?
Oh, douche
That
fuck that got his ass whooped by the local.
yeah, 6 minute walkout. I mean it
No, it wasn't like that. I watched it and was like, you know what, Stylebender, he's kind of earned that right too. The other kid hadn't. That other fucking guy had a couple of wins under his belt, and that's it. But yeah, when you win and you do that, it looks way better than when you get your ass whooped after you've done it.
right.
But Stylebender dominated him, man. And you know, he had him, he should have finished him in the first round. Whitaker got his ass saved by the bell because he was done. And Stylebender just finished him in the second, but he was never right after that. And the punch that finished him, to me, it is one of those that also just didn't look like a punch that would have. Romero hit him with shots that were way cleaner. But then again, I'm not the one taking them. But just from the eye test, and who's to say how much time those shots from Romero took off of his career? I don't know. I want to see what he does in response. But Whitaker, the lights shut out like that was kind of scary to me.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see because he's been injured, right? That's why it's such a long layover to this fight. He had 2 epic wars with Romero.
Yep.
Do you? It is hard to tell. Although they say that, like when you're looking at somebody that's bigger than you, you brace more for the punch,
Mm-hmm.
where the smaller, leaner looking guys, you don't think they're going to hit you that hard until they hit you, and then you're like, fuck, all right.
Oh yeah, it could totally be that. I mean, I'm not, I couldn't say without having been on the receiving end, but what I will say, I agree with you 100%. Stylebender's movement is like some young John Jones shit. And I know people are going to they're getting all the smoke they can get on that between those two trying to make that happen. And although Jones is much bigger, I'm game to see that fight because to me, Adesanya is, he looks to me like John Jones looked at 25.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see them actually go at it. Where John is not double his size, obviously, but he's such a bigger guy.
He's a huge motherfucker.
Right. So to have to go against him, I don't know, man. I don't see it. Maybe after John's more out of his prime and Stylebender's getting up there, you know what I mean? Like entering his prime. Because I mean, Stylebender is not even in his prime yet. He's still learning. Like he's still young enough that he's not even touching prime years yet.
Well, not in MMA. I mean, his career was kickboxing, right? Like he was a
Right.
world beater kickboxer, which is clear. His wrestling and his ground game is getting better. But if you sleep on that, if I was John Jones, I mean, John Jones has broken limbs, has choked people. People don't, because he hadn't done it in a while, but his submission game is about as nasty as he wants to let it be. He just doesn't use it enough. And that's what's killing me with so many of these fucking fighters that don't use their submission game. They fall in love with the hands and the feet, man. They lose fights because of it.
Yeah, because you let it go to them fucking judges.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll jump into that here in just a second when we talk about old UFC Fight Night Tampa.
Other than that, how would you rate that pay-per-view? Because there's so many. Are pay-per-views really worth doing anymore? Because they have so many.
Yeah, no, they're not worth the money. If I'm talking to me as a consumer, I'm mad almost every time I buy one because I'm disappointed as far as the value for each dollar that I paid. The fucking $69. Hell no, dude. They've got to do better. I'd rather them wait in between cards and really build them. I mean, there hasn't been a fucking like super card that just blew my tits off from top to bottom to where I'd spend any amount of money since, I don't know, maybe 200, except for coming up when we got fucking Game Bread and fucking Nate Diaz. I'll pay whatever I've got in the bank.
Yeah, I probably would have paid 100 for that one. I'm excited to see it. It's a fan fight. The fighters that hate on it and hating on the title, whatever, I get it because you didn't get asked. So I'm sure there's a little bit of butthurt, but at the same time, like that's a badass shit, bro. Like this is a fan fight. They put something together for the fans. And even the rest of that card looks fucking stacked. It's not even just that fight. That card itself is stacked.
But you got Usman out here that 7 people know his name, and he's out here talking shit about him and the BMF belt. And I'm sorry, like Usman's talented and all that, but nobody gives a fuck. That's part of it, you know. If people love you, because both Diaz and Masvidal have losses on their records. They've been beaten. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, they're not calling him like the greatest of all time belt. It's just the baddest motherfucker belt. These two that are ready to go in there, throw down, not hold back any punches, or I'm just gonna hold you against the cage the whole time and tire you out. Like they're going in there to bang one way or another.
Yeah, and that earns you a lot of equity amongst fans, and that's why everybody's behind this fucking BMF belt. And I know it hurts some of these guys' asses because, for one, like they said, they didn't get asked, but the only one that's embraced it and been cool about it, and I think it's actually built a bridge between them, is Ben Askren and Jorge Masvidal. Have you seen them going back and forth on Twitter?
No,
they've actually been friendly. Ben put out a thing telling all these haters on the BMF belt that they're stupid and that he thought it was a cool ass idea. It was smart. It was smart marketing. It was smart. And Ben was like, I mean, in a perfect world, I'd like to get a couple of wins and get a shot at Jorge again just to see. And Jorge actually replied to him and said, get a couple of wins and we can definitely do it.
Damn.
That wouldn't have, smart on Ben.
Yeah, get involved with that shit. Don't talk shit.
Yeah. Fucking
figure out how you can get on that shit or be the next. Because I mean, I would imagine, right? You could put together fights like this, and even if they're not like it's not like a title that you have to defend, but even like a yearly, these two are the baddest motherfuckers this year. You know what I mean? So it's something that you can implement in the future instead of just saying, no, this is a one and done thing. And they got to do something, right? Outside of doing another weight class, just keep going through interim champions and champions that are hurt. Or, I mean, Khabib's still killing it as the 155 champ, but who's next for him? Tony, even though was it his is it his manager that's talking shit about Tony, saying that he thinks that it should be
Connor.
Connor, yeah, because he wants that payday.
Yeah. I
Get the
mean,
fuck out.
and when that kind of stuff starts flying, what that means is that the negotiations with Tony aren't going right. Tony's wanting too much money. So immediately the proper way is to go to the media and say, we don't want him anyway.
Dude, if that fight doesn't happen, I'll be very disappointed.
Well, all MMA purists, I think, will be very pissed with the UFC if they don't make it happen. But Tony, man, you're dealing with a hard-headed motherfucker, and he's got to know his value. He's won 12 in a row.
Right? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he should absolutely get money, but I it's hard to say like what he's asking for. Like I have no idea.
No,
But you should, if Khabib's getting 10, 15, 20 million, I don't see why you don't give Tony at least 5 to 10.
oh, for sure. I mean, it's going to be a good scrap, and Tony could Tony could beat anybody. I mean, you fuck around with him, it's a bad choice.
His whole executioners list that he has with everybody's faces that are all fucked up.
Dude, he cuts more people with fucking elbows than anybody on planet Earth. And if Connor doesn't hurry up and pick somebody, it's starting to get ludicrous because he will start. He even they posted something today. Like his coach was like, "We'll take any because there's 4 people basically begging to fight him. You got Poirier, Khabib. Who are the other 2 there?
You got
Gaethje, Cowboy, and Connor hadn't fought in years, and he's able. People are still begging. That tells you how much money that motherfucker moves.
Poirier should fight Connor if anybody. I could see the Gaethje one too. I think that'd be interesting. Although I'd like to see Connor get in and at least fight somebody first. Like you've been out, just pick somebody. It can be Martin Bravo for some. You know what I mean? Like just fucking something.
Get a win and fan this fucking spark into a flame again. All he needs is one, and he can start back talking all the shit in the world. He just needs one win. It doesn't even really matter who it is. Like you were saying, to your point, just get a win again. It's how much people are willing to forgive, and he can, start counting his fucking billions again.
Well, people that I hope would get paid: Demetrius Johnson, who won the ONE FC Grand Prix for the featherweight division over there. The epic trade of the first trade that I've ever seen from them. Right? We traded Eddie Alvarez and Mighty Mouse for I don't even know who the hell we got.
Shit, who was it?
I forget who we got.
Yeah, they got Mighty Mouse.
Oh, Askren. Yeah, that's Askren. Duh.
Yeah, and how's that moment so far? We got the fastest knockout in UFC history.
Mm-hmm.
And a questionable win over Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, no, and that's good for him. I hope that he's getting paid and getting the respect over there that he deserved over here. I loved watching his fights.
Well, what he'll get over there is the love, man. Over there in Japan and shit, the fans love the fighters. Like, love them as people, heroes, fucking little guys too. It's not just the big guys. They love them all. So I'm sure he is getting the love, but man, he's back over there. It's good to see him kicking ass, man. I mean, if you don't like Demetrius Johnson, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I know, no kidding. I would like to see him and Cejudo someday run it back. I think that was a very close decision. That
Cejudo makes me yawn though, bro. He's trying too hard. His gimmick is gross to me. Like,
it's over with. Like it was not funny. Maybe cute the first time. Like, all right, I get it. Now it's like, all right, dude, seriously, you're not the bad guy, so trying to be that guy is just not working out.
Yeah, it's ugly. I mean, you can tell it's not real. That he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, right?
And
Like
it fucking hurts me to see him not, you know, do the work because he's talented. I mean, you can't fucking deny how good his skills are, but man, fucking here in America, little guys, fuck man, we just shit all over them. We just don't for some reason we don't embrace them the same way.
yeah, I don't know. They blame it because of knockouts or finishes, but DJ's put him down. Benavidez has put him down. Dillashaw has put him down. Like people have knockouts and they have energy for days where they're not tired after the first round and can keep it banging.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you watch DJ fight, I'm tired
Yeah.
after just a round of it because the pace is so fucking incredible and the transitions that little guys have are masterful. I mean, DJ was I mean, he's fucking pulled off arm bars from positions that people could never do. He's just so well rounded, fucking beast.
Agreed.
So what's this that I haven't heard this? I saw this on our notes about Brandon Marshall.
Yeah. Brandon Marshall, former wide receiver, played the Jets everywhere else. He's becoming a pro boxer.
Are you
He's-
serious? I haven't heard a thing about it.
Yeah, that was the one I have on. I can look up the article that I have for it.
I wonder how he looks.
Let's see. He's becoming a pro boxer and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury. Because if you're gonna come in, you might as well just shoot right for the top, right?
Oh God, that is reaching
Um,
for the stars. That's hilarious. See, that's the fucking Conor McGregor effect, though.
What's that? The everybody thinks you can do it just because this guy does it?
Yeah, well, Conor went in there and boxed the GOAT, Floyd Mayweather, in
Yeah.
his first pro boxing match. And there's a huge difference. You can't compare an NFL player coming into boxing like you could an MMA fighter going to boxing. That they already have a built-in set of skills. I think an NFL fighter would have a better chance going into the UFC because you can use your athleticism a lot more than going into the sweet science. But you're just going to get pieced up. Any of those guys he calls out, he's going to get knocked out in seconds.
Oh hell yeah. Well, who's the Dallas what's it,
Greg Hardy.
not even Hardy. There was somebody before him. Greg Hardy got it to the UFC. The other guy did not make it to the UFC, I don't think. Oh my god, that's gonna blow my mind forever. But yeah, but even Greg Hardy's a fucking murderer.
Yeah,
Probably
we'll talk
literally.
about him in a minute. On he's fighting on the UFC Boston card coming up in a little bit.
Yeah, I fucking just had that fight card.
Yeah, I've got it. The UFC Boston is Wyman and Reyes, Yair and Stevens, Hardy against Ben Sosoli, and then Joe Lozon versus Jonathan Pierce.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm gonna be gone, so will have to watch it when I come back.
Yeah, there's 3 fights on there. Actually, all 4 of those fights I'm down to watch. It could be Joe Lozon's last walk.
I could see that.
It's his 27th UFC fight.
Yeah, I could see that, and he's been it seems like away for a while. I thought he was. Funny is I thought, like I was just thinking, like, damn, I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
Until I saw that, I was like, oh no shit. But yeah, it's definitely been probably a year since I believe he fought.
I always have love for Joe Lozon, though. What a fucking warrior. That dude's a fucking world beater. I would like to see him walk away. He's got a very successful school and gym.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's got his little boy that I think he had cancer when he was young and beat that. Like, it's just like such a good story. And I'd like to see him get a win. I've never heard of this guy he's fought. So I'd like to think maybe they're setting him up for a good opportunity to have a send-off fight and win.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I know he does the Jimmy Walk every year in Boston. They get a team together to raise money.
Yeah, the Greg Hardy thing, though, he doesn't. To me, he doesn't get the respect that, I hate to say it because I know his history and all that shit with the domestic violence. But if you take all that away, I'm just talking about it as an MMA fighter.
I mean, he was just practicing.
Scary.
Yeah.
He's scary. And
Yes.
I mean, I saw the pictures. He beat the dogs. He was actually definitely practicing.
But yeah, it's hard to say, especially in this time and day, the climate of everything going on, whether he should be allowed to fight in the UFC or not. But he's there, and he's actually performing really well. I mean, if you listen to him, he's going to be the GOAT, and I assume eventually he'll if he doesn't lose, he'll get his shot at the title.
I mean, he's won every fight that he's had, and the one that he lost, he was DQ'd after he murdered the guy. Didn't necessarily need him when he was down.
Yeah.
He'd already beat the guy, so I don't really consider that a loss. I mean, he's an idiot, and they took it from him. But I mean, he's marking fucks left and right, and I wouldn't if these guys, they don't want it. That's why it's easier to just talk shit and be like, he doesn't deserve to be here because they don't want it.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
Not from him.
No,
man.
I'm actually going to take Greg Hardy now. I'm going to go on the record. I'm taking him. I don't care if people hate me or not. Taking Greg.
It would be interesting to see him and Francis go at it.
Oh, hell yeah. I would absolutely love that. I'd love him and Francis, fucking Rumble and Francis. I'm fine with. And Rumble's cutting a lot of weight. I saw him on Schaub's Food Truck Diaries today, and he's already down to like I think like 245, 300. He's looking good. He said he thinks he could get back to 205 to fight John Jones if John would do it.
Ooh. All right, I'll take it.
So we'll see.
I'll take it. Before we get off of Boston, Weidman and Reyes.
Yep.
This is Weidman's debut at light heavyweight because I know he's talking shit to John Jones, so he wants that fight too.
Yep.
Is he done though? Like, is he? I don't want to say because he's had sick moves. Like his one of the things that made me semi like or believe in Weidman was he hit Fabricio Verdum with this elbow on like the way in. Was it Verdum?
No, he wouldn't have fought Verdum. He's too big.
No.
Yoel Romero?
No, it was Munoz.
Could have been.
Yeah, I think it was Munoz where he caught him right on the bridge of the nose as he stepped in and dropped. I was like, oh shit! Like that's just a very technical strike. So I was impressed. The fights with Silva, I mean, he did great, but after those, like he just hasn't been as, I don't know.
Well, yeah, he's had a lot of issues. He's had neck issues for years, and wrestlers that tends to come up. But he had it's called a foraminectomy. My neck is fused, so I know like all this fucking lingo. And what that is they went in, he had a disc bulging in his neck, and it was pressing on a nerve. So they went in 2 or 3 years ago, and instead of doing the full surgery, they just cut the part of the disc that's bulging and get rid of it. Like just
Jesus Christ.
And hope it gets better. And so he fought for 2 years with that wasn't getting any better. And so in January of this year, he went ahead and had a disc replacement where they cut all the disc out, put one of those mobile metal discs that are on they're called a Mobi C. Because I was weighing the options of whether to get that or the Fusion, which I got. And my injury was too bad, so they couldn't fit the replacement. So I've got cage, and it's just all one level. His is supposed to help with mobility. Eddie Bravo had that done in his lower back, but he had severe atrophy in his left arm. His bicep on his left arm was weak. I've seen the videos of him training. I just don't know. He's got the cards stacked against him. It scares me. So my gut is Reyes. He's younger. He's scary. He's got good kicks. And Weidman, other than when he caught Gastelum with that choke, I mean, Rockhold, everybody's taking advantage of him on the feet. Romero, Rockhold, you know.
I mean, the Rockhold one was kind of like a mistake, right? Like he
Yeah, he
went for
went
that
for that heel
spinning back kick, yeah,
fucking
and just was poorly executed, poorly aimed, and Rockhold capitalized on it. Romero, I mean, he just caught him good with that knee coming in.
dude, so nasty. He was winning that fight too. So your point is valid. Weidman was winning that fight to me up until then. Pretty cleanly against Romero until Romero crushed his skull with that vicious knee.
Do you think so? Part of it might be the cutting weight.
It could
So,
be. Everybody said for years he needs to be a 205er. He's a huge man. I mean, Chris Weidman's a big boy. What I hope is that he'll use some of his ground game from, 'cause he's a Sarah guy, and these guys that train under Matt Sarah, if they would just use some of it. I hate they get so caught up in the stand up. Fuck, man. I wish they would use their fucking ground game. Hopefully he does if he's smart, because this is a younger kid that's hungry. He's got to get a W here. I think if he doesn't and he looks bad, he'll retire for health reasons. You know, that's nothing to fuck with. His neck that could be paralysis. You know what I'm saying? If that gets fucked with the wrong way. So
yeah, no thanks.
we'll have to see, man. I don't know. I'm still undecided on that. I can't make that pick yet.
Can you turn your head at all?
Yeah, mine's good. Like my levels that I had fused, you've got, if you look at your neck where it meets your skull, you've got C1, C2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. 7 is the last one, C7. After that, it's T1, which is your thoracic vertebrae.
Mm-hmm.
That's like your chest, right? The ones that I had removed were 5 and 6, 6 and 7. So at the very bottom where my neck meets my chest area. So most of your mobility of your head comes from your top discs. And so mine are still there, but I can't look straight up to the sky. If an airplane is overhead and fireworks and shit, I have to like bend at the knees to see up there. It's all good.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know. As it gets closer, I will look and study that card more. I definitely kind of want to pick Lozon just because I like Lozon. Weidman, I don't know, man. And I'm glad to see Jeremy Stevens and Yair run it back.
Yeah, I actually feel even more strongly in the fact that I'm taking Stevens hard this time after all the shit that Yair stirred up. And Stevens kind of being quiet is a scary Steve. That means he's been, that scratch cornea was easy to heal from. It just had to heal. And he went straight back into training like a monster. So he's going to have a pissed off. Stevens is one of those guys, man. It's not a facade, he'll fucking fight you, and he'll fight you in the street. So
yeah,
Yair's he's gonna be facing a pissed off bull, son.
But before UFC Boston, UFC Tampa this past weekend, Michelle the Karate Hottie Watterson versus the return of Joanna Jędrzejczyk, trying to climb back up and get her title shot. I was surprised. I'm glad to see Joanna come back, but I think we were talking about this before we got going, is it she's back to how she should be, or is Watterson overrated?
Well, if you compare him to old, and I'm going to butcher her name, Waling, the champion, both of them stand a fucking chance. After what she did to, what was it, Andrade, that she murked over there in seconds. None of them want that smoke a bit. And Joanna and them can pretend, they talk like it's still Rose there. It's not Rose.
Yeah. What happened to Rose?
She just took time off after she got slammed on her fucking neck and head.
That's it, right? She just
took time off.
Did they take or she lost? That's right. That's right. She ended up losing to Andrade. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then Andrade went over there and took on that fucking beast that nobody wanted to fight from China.
Fucking Super Cop.
And she got killed quickly. And she basically tapped from strikes because she went and sat on the corner and just stopped fighting and waited for the ref to pull her off, which I get it. That chick was a manimal.
I think Joanna and her are a good matchup. They would both stand up well, but it will be interesting to see.
Joanna doesn't do well though when somebody
Is the
bullies her.
aggressor. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she does well, like Watterson. If you let Joanna bully you, you're gonna get cut up, you're gonna get lumped up because she's gonna hit you with a pace that you can't deal with. She's good at that Muay Thai up close. She's a multi-time Muay Thai champion for a good reason. And she's gonna sit in there, she's gonna knee you, kick you, elbow you, punch you, and they're just gonna add up. And then you're gonna look like Watterson, whose white rash guard was burgundy.
Yeah. Yeah, Watterson looked good, but she almost reminds me of like the Stephen Thompson, where you're the karate style. You wait for them to move, and then you try to react off of that versus going in and being the aggressor to implement your will.
It's exactly who she's like. I can't add anything to that. That is fun. I've never even thought of that. That's who it is. That's who she reminds me of. And that's what my problem is. I guess that's why I said I wasn't sure or if she's overrated. I like her. I think her personality is great. She's beautiful. She's ripped. She's a mother. Like she's inspirational and all that. She's definitely the karate hottie. There's no bullshit in that. She's a smoke show.
No, she's good. She skills like her techniques like Saturday night, whereas they were great. Like she was on point, but it just never the aggressor really. Like she got walked down, and Joanna was able to get inside of those kicks enough to bang her the fuck up.
Yeah, and Joanna will pin your back to the cage, right? And just beat you to death. I mean, she did it to Esparza when she knocked Esparza's nose off. You remember when she won the belt and she murdered Esparza? She had her up against the cage and just beat her till Esparza dropped to her leg, to her ass and quit. That's what Joanna will do. And if you can't pull the trigger while in that, which not a lot of people can, you're going to get beat. So I was happy for Joanna because she hasn't looked good in a while. She definitely looked at her like her speed is still there.
Right.
First time in a while she looked that fast. So
somebody that can stand in the clinch and bang, Cub Swanson, Kron Gracie. I like Cub. I've liked Cub for a long time. I just figured where Kron is basically undefeated as far as submissions go. Like he's just been finishing everybody.
Yeah, he's 5-0 in his MMA career, or 5-1 now.
Yeah, but all finishes. He just once he gets you, he's got you type of thing. So Cubs had issues on the ground before. Once he's gotten takedowns or being taken down, there was, even though he's still a jiu-jitsu black belt, it didn't seem like he was able to get anything work before. I mean, Frankie Edgar took him down a lot.
Ortega ripped his head off his neck.
So
guillotine was disgusting that he murdered him with.
So, I mean, I like him. I want to see him win. He knew going into it, he was looked at as a gatekeeper, but it didn't slow him down. He took it right to him. Like there was no fear. Them body shots, holy Christ, man.
Wow, dude. And it was incredible. It was a testament not only to, it was a masterful game plan by Cub, which is what I like to see an older fighter, because you consider him an older fighter. I think he's like 35.
Yeah.
Maybe. Instead of falling victim and getting goaded into either over rushing an opponent that can easily take you to the ground or that you want to stay away from, they abandon their game plan. They think they're just going to knock them out. He was smart, had a good game plan, but there's only so much you can do with somebody that won't go away. And Kron Gracie, he earned a lot of respect from me with how in the fuck do you take those body shots and never wince?
There was no breathing heavy. It was nothing. I assume part of it's going to be the Gracie breath of life.
Well, that's from his dad, Hickson.
Yeah.
He mastered that shit. Now I'm gonna learn it because
Yeah,
fuck.
dude, the shots that he was eating was, I mean, it was impressive. I like where Crone. I'm excited to see more of Crone. I think
Mhm.
he is one of the next
Yeah,
things. I like that he's out of Diaz's camp. They brought him in to help their jiu-jitsu game, and then he just never left. So he's got that same kind of striking style where he'll just put that hand there and then let it rip to you.
yeah.
But
There's a lot of that. You saw him a lot of Diaz influence as far as head in your chest, punches continue to flow. But what it was clear to me, and not everyone can do it, but I think everyone that trains there, that you're going to get kicked out of that gym unless you adopt the mentality of kill or be killed. You know,
mm,
to do it
mhm.
anyway. And I just hope he doesn't over become in love with the stand up and abandon his fucking genes and DNA, because the Diaz's don't even use their fucking jujitsu.
Yeah, no shit.
And but if that happens to a Gracie, you might get kicked out of the family.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I know he tried a couple of subpar. He tried to pull guard a couple times, but
Wizards.
his takedowns looked like garbage. Like he's never done an offensive takedown in his life. They have to be better than that to be a Gracie. But or is that Cub was so good and he stayed away and moved, which he did.
Yeah, yeah. That whole first round, more so, I think the first round set the pace. I think even if you didn't see it, those body shots, they had some effect
Sure.
where he just couldn't either bend down to
Yeah.
even go for a double leg. But
Well, Crohn's already took to social media and said he won the fight, which is awesome.
yeah,
He
well,
already flat out said, I won that fight. Anybody knows. Everyone knows I won that fight.
uh, not.
Not really, buddy. I mean, I love him. I think he's an up and comer too. And you can't teach what you showed that he had, which is the toughness. That no matter where you go, you got that or you don't. He can polish his striking a little and work on the damn MMA wrestling because it's different.
Yeah, I mean,
Different.
he's only 25 too, so he's got
No,
a lot of years ahead of him.
yeah, but what he doesn't want to do is get in 5 of those banger wars to start his career and be used up too soon.
You had before that Nico Price, uh, knockout of the night,
Knockout of
dude.
the world from the up kick. Fuck, that was
It was,
nasty.
James Vick went down with it. I mean, it wasn't even like a up, like it was up. It was almost like
A scissor
like
kick,
a axe kick. Like, yeah, right, dude. Just right heel right to the cheek
orbital. Fuck,
and just deaded him. That looked like that sucks.
dude. The words that came out of my mouth. I remember we were sitting. Me and Brooke were watching it. What I said when he kicked him was, "Holy orbital fuck."
Mm.
Because I don't know if James Vick's orbital is broke or not. It needs to be after that heel, which is just toughest bone. I mean, it's like hitting it with a hammer.
Yeah.
And it was so clean, and he was so asleep laying in his fucking guard, taking 5 shots. Oh, it was gross, man. He was asleep for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was definitely asleep before he fell into the guard, before catching those punches, before the ref could even stop it.
Dude,
Is
that
that?
shows you people are training that up kick now.
Well, you should me.
And I know. I'm just saying it's a gamble when these guys jump into a guy's guard or girl's guard, and you rolling the dice. You run into one of those. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny to see because that was before the Cub Gracie fight.
Yeah.
So to see Gracie after he went back a couple of times to try to throw up the up kick, whether he knew that had happened previous or not, like it's just once you're on your back, let it fly.
Yeah, man, it's definitely people are starting to use it, and why not? That heel bone is a nightmare. But Nico Price is known for that, man. They've talked about he's finished fights in so many ways. He's just an animal, and I was surprised, but not really surprised because the guy comes to fight every time and looks for a finish. You just don't see many from the up kick like that, but
He's a goofy looking bastard.
he is.
His little top knot hair thing. I don't even know.
He's not even all right in the head either. So it just matches the crazy hair, fucked up mentality. And, yeah.
That was Vic's first attempt at 170. And it's like, damn, bro. Like, that's all right. I'm going to try this new weight class. And you get ate the fuck up real quick. Is it, do you think it was more skill or he just got caught, right? It wasn't, does that say anything about Vic? I mean, it was vicious.
Yeah. I don't think many men on earth or women, if you catch a heel directly to your cheek like that from a person that's as strong as Nico is, it's no different than somebody having a carpenter hammer and hitting you straight in the cheek with it.
Yeah, it was pretty. That shit looked like it hurt a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
Amanda Rebus defeated Mackenzie Dern via unanimous decision, which she should have. She outclassed Dern. She was, I've never heard of her before, but it was impressive enough to watch that I want to see her again. She was fast. She was all over the place. Technical strikes that got in there, was able to nullify anything Dern wanted to do about going on the ground.
Yeah, she's like a Tasmanian devil. Her pace was ungodly, and I could see it in the first round that Mackenzie Dern was like, holy shit, this fucking girl, because she was twice as fast as Mackenzie Dern. It wasn't even close. Like, you could see the speed differential.
Yeah, they looked like different size fighters.
Oh, for sure. Mackenzie Dern, I'm going to say this too, and it's going to make women hate me. Her just had a baby cans were flopping like flapjack. Dude, those big hooters, and I know they're feeding life. She's only 4 months post-birth, which is kudos to her. That's fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
Baby 4 months ago. And she's breastfeeding, but she actually made weight easy. She's missed weight by up to 10 pounds before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it shows you how much, for one, that breastfeeding will help and helps you lose the baby weight. But her flapjack tits, those milky jugs, looked like it hurt. Like when she was dancing, I bet that sucks.
Yeah, she had to have probably the biggest ones I've seen on a fighter, except for after Misha Tate got her job done.
Dude, Misha's tits, though, they're different. That's a different level. You got one that is a nutritional tool, those big flapjacks, and Misha's beautiful bosom, man-made. That didn't really move because they're man-made. Mackenzie were damn hitting her at the belly button.
Yeah. Poor girl. I probably would have waited like 6 months after having a baby. Maybe that would have helped a little bit more.
I guarantee you, as much as we're joking, I guarantee you her coaches like, we're strapping them bitches down next fight. Like they can't be flopping around, because I guarantee that has to balance. I don't know. I mean, I don't have them, so I don't know.
No, but I would imagine that it's gotta throw some weight somewhere or make you more. I mean, you're lifting extra weight, right? If you can't get him to stay, it's like trying to hold a branch.
They start moving like this. So how does it pull you and all that?
You had Matt Ferriola, however you say his name, defeated Luis Pena by split decision. I could have seen it going towards Pena. He was the aggressor majority of the time, walking back. Frivola was walking him down, but the amount of damage, I don't know. It was close. Like it's hard. I could see how it went towards Ferriola, but I thought Pena took it after it was all said and done, and that maybe Ferriola had the last round.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Pena was good. He had his I don't know. He's a weird looking dude. He looks like Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, he does. That's a perfect description. But I didn't get to see the fight, so I'm going off of your word. I've seen Pena fight before, and the way you're describing it is perfect, and he's a great fighter. So it doesn't surprise me, but that sucks if it was. But it was a split, so at least it was that. It wasn't some unanimous.
Right. No, it was split, and you could see that Pena was upset by the time or when it got called because it should have gone towards him, even if it was still a split. I thought he did enough to take it.
Hmm.
But
Can't leave it to the judges. I mean, they say that all the time, but it is so true.
I'm trying to think. I don't think he didn't get knocked down. I mean, it was like a slip, if anything. But Ferviola got hit with this flying knee. I mean, it was one of the cleanest flying knees that I've seen,
Hmm.
and it snapped. He got his head snapped back, but he didn't go down.
Yeah,
Like he's a tough son of a bitch, dude. Like to take that knee, but I just don't see how he got the win. Like
yeah,
you have to go back and watch it, and it's just you let me know what you think. I still
yeah,
think Pena got it.
yeah. I'm gonna go watch. I'll probably watch it when we wrap up here in a minute. I'll watch it tonight to see. But then you got my boy from Bama, Eric, Andrews, the decisionator.
Versus Gerald Meerchat.
Oh, for real though, Eric Anders. I love that guy, and I love his story coming from football. He hasn't been training a whole, very long. He can mix it up with anybody. Nobody's just flat out murked him ever since he's fought. Man, dude, he needs some knockout power or something. Like it makes me yawn, and I hate to say that. I know he's very skilled, but damn.
The way that he talked at the end, it was interesting to see how he said that the other guy that Gerald didn't allow him to implement his game plan, but yet Gerald stood right in front of him. Like he was eating shots. There was no head movement on his side, no real feints, no nothing that you're not faking. It was just sitting there, press forward and eat shots. And I think that, fuck, Jesus Christ, I just fucking blanked on his name. Anders could have done a lot more to him. I mean, he won. I don't think it was a split decision. I think he won, but I think he could have
Ways to
he,
finish him.
he could have done more with the guy that he had because he just again sit there right in front of him. Like he could have fed that jab to him a lot more than what he did.
Yeah, I almost feel like the UFC is paying him back for where he got robbed in the fight with Machida, because Eric Anders beat Machida's ass, and they gave the fight to Machida over in Brazil, and it was blatant. And so maybe they're just giving him wanting to give him a fight that he could win, but I don't know. I want to see him be able to finish some people. That's all I want. I mean, he's clearly tough and willing to fight anybody. He came in and was fighting the best of the best pretty quickly with fighting Machida. So we'll see. Who is Machida? Is Machida fighting somebody soon, or did he just fight in Bellator?
I think he just fought in Bellator and won.
That's right. Who did he fight? It was a pretty big.
I can tell you in 1 second.
It's gonna piss me off because I should know.
Oh, did I delete that card already? Or no, did he? He fought. No, he lost to Gegard
Mousasi.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mousasi is one of the best in the world, so that makes sense. But yeah, so Eric hadn't.
Oops, sorry.
So I don't know what they're going to do with him. I mean, he's a great filler in guy that's going to give you a good fight every time. But I don't know. Now, I'm looking forward to UFC Boston. It's a free fight, right?
Yep. ESPN. I believe it's on ESPN or ESPN2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've got questions around Weidman. I want to see him do well and be healthy. So
yeah, I don't know. Once you start getting injuries or a lot of injuries back to back, maybe it's time to not.
And he's got like 5 kids. That guy's got a bunch of kids, big, beautiful family. So I definitely don't want to see him overworked. And he's a perfect guy to transition into working at the UFC or getting into commentating or something. But
Yeah.
I don't
I
want to
like.
stay too long, but we'll see at 205.
What'd you think of the commentating with Bisbing and his partner?
I like Bisping actually. I think honestly, probably if I'm looking at it, if I'm forecasting, I think he'll be the one that replaces Rogan when Rogan steps away officially. I actually like Bisping because he's English. Some of the shit he says is very tongue in cheek, and
Mm-hmm.
so it sounds funny. So there's some funniness in there. Where like Dominic Cruz is just such an analytical commentator. Like he knows his shit really well, but it's kind of boring. It'd be Bisping between Bisping and DC for me. I love both those guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's on the ESPN2.
Oh, cool.
So
Beautiful.
if I was not going away that weekend, I would have tried to get tickets.
Yeah, no shit.
Damn. Yeah.
That'd be a good one to go to. I've never been to a live UFC fight.
For real, I've been to two of them. Would have been three, but I was in Pennsylvania when they came to Boston. I think the time when Connor was here in Boston, I was in Pennsylvania. But I saw BJ Penn, Frankie Edgar too, where Edgar beat the shit out of BJ Penn again.
Yes.
And I saw when Dominic Cruz got his belt back from TJ Dillashaw.
Damn. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Shit, I would have loved to have been at that Boston card with Connor. It was just Irish to the tits in Boston.
Yeah.
I remember watching on TV. It was like Ireland just invaded Boston.
Southies. Uh, but yeah, man, I'm excited. I'll come back Sunday after I'm done putting shit away. I'm going camping with it's me and 9 other guys out on some island that we row out off
Sweet.
season where it's nice and cold and windy and dangerous. Very minimalist camping.
Sweet, brother. That's
Yeah,
the way to do it.
man, shit.
Yeah. See how you stack up with Mother Nature, goddamn.
Hell yeah, 4th year going.
Test yourself a little bit, get out there in the cold. Uncle Randy likes the cold. I'm tired of this heat. I'm happy that it's starting to cool off in Georgia. It's been we've had more 90 plus days of temperature than ever down here.
Damn.
I can't stand it. I'm ready to move.
Hey, up north is always nice.
Yeah. Well, shit, brother. This was awesome. We'll touch, I'm sure we'll touch base, make our picks and put them out there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Instagram. What I'm about to do, I was looking at it today. I think I'm going to go ahead and get this StreamYard subscription where we can multi-stream.
Oh, yeah?
So we'll be able to stream going forward on this channel, your Any Pod channel if we want, the Married AF channel, the Inner Circle channel, the Civilized Creature channel, Instagram, Twitter, all at the same time.
Oh, hell yeah, sir. Dude, dope.
Yeah, it's it's a monthly thing, but I think we need to do that to get it out there. I mean, I'm going to do it for Married AF, of course, too, but being able to sometimes just picking one, it's so hard because you don't know which avenue to go because fucking sometimes it's Facebook is hot and it does better, and so I'm ready to we'll put them out on all these motherfuckers and we'll see how it goes.
Hell yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely a hard decision of which one to use. I like Facebook because you get those randoms from somebody scrolling through where I don't think you get that as much on YouTube unless you're trending or something like that. But YouTube is still more people have YouTube than Facebook because of whatever people's issues with Facebook are.
Yeah, they will. I mean, YouTube eventually over time will get more views too. Like it'll build.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, you can get a good group live. So let's say fuck it. We'll get all of them. We'll put them out on every fucking one we have access to, and we'll go from there, brother.
Hell yeah. Listen, at Throwing Smoke on Twitter, follow us there. Send in your questions. You can hit them the DMs. You could send it to throwingsmokemma@gmail.com. You could go to Merit AF and ask Randy any question. You can go to any podcast, ask me any question. Hit up us in the chat when we're live.
Yeah, and if you got questions, you're hitting up some of your favorite fighters and shit, and you got questions that relate to them, shit, tag them in the post, and we'll talk about it and address the questions, and see if we can get them to chime in on our commentary. But yeah, do it. Hit us up. All the questions that you got, we're happy to answer them.
Oh yeah, man, it's been fun again.
All right, brother, man. Well, have fun on your trip and be safe. Goddamn.
I will.
All right, brother. Well, I'll holler at you, and we'll get. It's gonna be 2 weeks. We're gonna wait 2 weeks and do the next one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll. I'll have a better idea of my scheduling going forward.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right, brother. We'll see
All
you
right, man.
later.
All right.